Welcome, ASM, to Perth Dialogues. It's a pleasure to have met you for and been in contact with you for so long, and good opportunity to get to welcome you on the
Thank you.
podcast as well.
Good, I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Yes.
We have discussed a lot of things in the recent days, and one of them was that I talked to you about the new thing coming up in Australian politics called Muslim Vote Matters. And like I saw that it started with Muslim vote matters
Yeah.
and then it went on to Sikh vote matters. And there's already an
But
Australian
uh,
Christian
but
party, but it's a
think this
party.
way: if
These
there
two
can
are
be a school
advocacy
that
bodies.
Christian school, yeah, there can be a Hindu school, Buddhist school, Muslim school. So why not in the politics that Muslim vote matters, Christian vote matters, everything matters?
Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, like what I think is like you can have all these parties, but you have an advocacy
Hmm.
body, but not getting into party politics. Like you set up your candidates all fair in the game. But this is a different way of doing things, and that's what I was interested in discussing with you. And because it says Muslim vote matters, so that's okay as a from an advocacy body, but what do the people on the ground say? What do the common Muslims say? What Muslim Australians think of these things? So that's, I thought, like it's a good
Yeah.
discussion point.
Yes.
So let's
Nah,
start.
go for it.
What do you think? You got any views before starting? So my first question, or like how do we start with, probably would be why I'm choosing you to share your views. And just because I know you come from Bangladesh, which is a Muslim country, and you have your own views. So I think it's you tell me something about yourself, and especially from your political works and your Muslim viewpoint of the world, of what you think and how you
See,
think. And then
for
we'll go
me,
on to this, especially.
Muslim comes from Islam. If there is no Islam, there wouldn't be any Muslim. Now,
Hmm.
people made Muslim Islam is sort of like a religion. Okay, I do this, I don't do this, you do this, I don't like it, that's haram, that's halal, that's goes. But to start with, Islam is not even a religion because it's nowhere been told
Hmm.
by our prophet, peace be upon him, in his living life, and that he never said a single line that Islam is a religion. Nor in the Quran, in our book, it has been said that Islam is a way of life.
Hmm.
The thing that way of life and religion has a two different type of depth. Now, we always go for like,
Right.
I'm Muslim, you are Christian, you are Hindu, and this and that. But we always miss the root point of it. So, for example, we see that currently in the world that Muslim is fighting with Jews or that in Israel happening. One side is blaming another side is blaming another. But the thing is that Muslim
Hmm.
itself shouldn't be used to earn your right or something and segmenting it like we are doing with Jews, we are doing with Christianity, with everything. The problem in the world is that now most of the
Hmm.
people gonna get angry with me and that let's say there are 1.3 billion
Go
Muslims in
for
the
it.
world, but 99% plus of them doesn't understand properly from the depth what Islam is. In Quran it said Quran is for those that are wise. It has not been said in the Quran that Quran is for those that are knowledgeable who can read. Knowledge is not in wisdom. You can
Hmm.
have 20 PhD, but that doesn't make you a wise person. Now,
Hmm.
with all of these, that like that, it just, I have a saying, I see politics is a good business. Because people are unethical and dishonest. Now, remember, when I said people, I don't mean only myself or yourself. I mean my mom, my dad, my children, my wife, everyone. People. And 90% of the people in our society, including my own parents, are dishonest and unethical. So don't see the point that, see, we Australia, most of the people that came to Australia, why you came to Australia, what I came to Australia, we all came here from countries that we didn't like those countries. We came for a betterment. Now, by coming here, if we can't rise above race, color, religion, ethnicity, and become unite for one common goal, which our prophet, peace be upon him, then Jesus, Buddha, Ram, all had it in common. But you will see nobody is uniting for the common. Everybody is fighting that I am better than you. That's the pride. That's the ego.
Right.
That basically most of us don't see. Nobody is better than anybody because everything is same if we go to the root. So Muslim vote matter. I have read it, and this and that. Did quite a bit of, because it comes into my Facebook feed and this and that, because I'm a member of a lot of Muslim groups, and that. But it has a lot of negative impact in our Australian society.
Right. So we'll discuss about those effects. Like you were saying something about what the Quran says and what the Prophet said. The aim for this block or this group is to advocate to the Muslim population on guiding them on how they should vote in the coming federal election. I think they are designed towards federal elections. They is trying to guide them to how to they should vote and how they should consider or review their politicians or their federal members. What does Islam says about such block voting? And or should it says like you make your own assessment or you think of your own, or
As I
does it says
said,
that is it okay for people to get together and vote
as
together?
it's been in Quran, and there are a lot of hadith. We call it in English, you can say hadith and this and that. From my research and extensive research, because religion is my obsession, you can tell it. So from that, half of this hadith doesn't make sense. Now it's like, say for example, I am I'm Jesus, or I am a prophet or something, and I have told something in my lifetime, and you have written a book, or your child has written a book after 100 years later that I have told that. I have told that. But when you think about it, according to Quran, a lot of them doesn't have make sense. And as you said, the block voting. Now, this is how I will answer it. As in the Quran, it said, Quran is for those that are wise. And it also has been said, read. I have given you free will. So do have I. And there is a reason why free will was given. Because if I am Muslim, if I believe in Islam, I have to believe that my Allah has given me free will. Now, with that free will, if I decide to choose something that, okay, this person said that, let's say, Nirmal Singh is a bandit. Now, let's put this way, 100 of us keep saying Nirmal Singh is a bandit, and then another 100 people heard about it, and they basically joined the bandwagon saying that Nirmal Singh is a bandit. But later on, it has been proven that Nirmal Singh is not a bandit. But then when you go to the legal system, law, you will see those 100 that has started the process is the one that gonna face the consequences. But there's 100 that joined them just by giving them, yeah, go for it, go for it. You will see, you will not find them anywhere. But the thing is that they gone away. They're not gonna face the consequences. But in Islam, those 100 will have to answer at the one they die. When the judgment comes, they have to answer for this action as well, that Allah will be asking that I have given you free will. Now, your free will be the scale of judgment. That free will is going to decide every decision, every actions that you have made. how it has affected another human being, how it has affected around you, who has suffered because of that. Regardless you know about it or do not know about it. That is how Islam works. Now you will say 99% people will not understand this about Islam, but they will understand about a lot of other things in Islam, and you will see when you dig down, all of these things they believe is for their own self-happiness of their own heart and soul. But Islam is not about that. We have to do the action and walk the path that our prophets have walked, which will make Allah happy. Not what I am doing to make my soul happy, that I'm praying 5 times a day, I'm having this, I'm doing that, hijab and everything. But from that, I should not have any self-infected pride that, oh, I'm praying 5 times a week, I'm doing that, so Allah will look after me. Allah should look after me. Allah don't have to look after you. Allah has no obligation to look after you, because Allah has given you free will, and that free will you use to decide what you're gonna do and that. Now, the bottom line is that if you do block vote without using your free will properly and looking into the things that what is truth and what is not, and if you make a decision only based on your that belief itself, that okay, my Muslim leader says that, so I shall do that. But we shall be asking the question, is Muslim leader walking the path? Is he the one that I should blindly believe? Say Quran, every Muslims blindly believe Quran. Now, I'm talking about that blind faith. But most of the time we vote that, okay, he is the Muslim community leader, he said so, I vote. And that type of voting without using your conscience and that is not a good action on the eye of judgment or free will or a scale of judgment. Because think this way, I can explain it this way, is that, but this is something maybe get me into trouble. But think this way, President Trump, get me some water, Toffee, please. President Trump has approved the attack on Gaza. Am I right? Which media saying, everything in the media that we can see, like SBS, then CNN News and that. It has like when Israel that attack just recently, like few days ago. Yeah. So Trump.
Okay, recently. Okay.
Exactly. No.
Because I
So
was thinking
Trump
that it
has
was Biden when the
approved an
Israel conflict
attack
happened.
that Israel conducted, and more than 400 people died by the media, mainstream media. But when I search in dark web and that, the death toll is over 900,000, and 50% plus of them are kids, child. Now the half of the world, or 70-80% of the world, social media, everything saying that these people are innocent, this, that, and that. But if we look deeply, there is no one is innocent. Here is why. Think this way. People that voted for Trump got Trump elected, and Trump has ordered or approved this attack which killed thousands of people. Now, from them, let's say 500 of them are adult, they are guilty. Now, other 500 are child. Let's say those 500 innocent. Now, for those that guilty, if you murder them, in Islam also is halal to do so, because it's called jihad. So let's say Trump has done jihad by killing 500 adult people from Gaza. Now, another 500 that got killed innocent, that made Trump everybody murderer. But Trump is not the true murderer. Is every single people that in USA voted for Trump, got him elected, and after his action, that staying silent and not taking any action, every single of them are also murderer. If you think logically, even if you think by checking Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianism, Islam, in every single way, these people. So in that case, 400 million people in USA is classified as a murderer. And that is what we are doing with Islam. No, Muslim vote matters, this matters, that matters. So we are creating our own group of segment instead of looking at the bigger picture. Is that it is my silence that killed the people in Gaza. My brother lives in USA. He works in a government department. I talked to him and I told him, I said that it is you are also have to answer once you die, because your silence has also caused the murdering of all this innocent child, because you voted for Trump. Similarly, everyone that voted for Joe Biden. Similarly, in Australia, regardless who we are voting for, Labour, Liberal, Greens, United, there's too many parties, Even there is one that chopped the dick off for the people that does child sex abuse.
Mhm.
Like all of
That was
this.
in WA. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, no matter who we're voting for, our leaders takes the action. It causes suffering across the world. But we do not talk about it. We gave one sad sign, like sign, this and that in the social media, but we never unite for a common goal. Like that, not stop that, because we don't understand how judgment works, or how karma works, or how even your ethics or honesty work. If I voted for Nirmal Singh and Nirmal Singh's ordered something that
Mm.
killed 10 people, then I did not ask Nirmal Singh after that I didn't vote for you. There is no that makes me a murderer too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
anybody
yeah.
that basically talks around me, I said that we are all
Yeah.
murderer. Who you blaming? Some murderer indirectly with silence, some because we are the one that choosing the leader. You cannot blame the leader. You already voted for the leader you chose,
Mm.
and every time leaders makes a mistake, you don't do anything. Look it into the history. Like that.
Yeah, yeah, that is a point of view, or it's been said many times that just voting is
Exactly.
not your end of your political participation. You have to keep going after your leader, asking them questions. Why are you doing this? Why are you not doing that? That's a constant. It is. There's a saying that the
Like
price
I was in
of good thing
Afghanistan.
is constant vigil.
So I've been fortunate enough to be
Hmm.
on the side of a terrorist who were dying. So I didn't had any sympathy or empathy for him at all. In my life, I sat down and he's dying. He asked me for water. I gave him water. And I asked that, can I ask you one question before you die? Because
Hmm.
I have died and I have relived. So I do have a little bit of idea that what happens when that whole body becomes energonless, no electron in your body, then you go to a dark stasis and come back after a certain amount of time. So when I asked him, I said that why you guys attack USA people are innocent. And the terrorist questioned me, is there
Hmm.
anyone truly innocent? Aren't those the people choosing the leader that coming here killing and killing, sometimes right way, sometimes the wrong way, but they are killing. And those people sitting in their home and inside the AC, going to shopping center, living a life, while my child here cannot have a proper drinking water. So how you can justify those people are innocent? Because silence is an action too. Silence is one of the most destructive action we can take to destroy ourselves from within. And that is what Muslim vote matter as well. Because in the Muslim vote matter, you will be saying that 90% voters, say the people, the kids, the ones that between 18 to 30-year-old, you will see the leaders will not be able to buy them. Those people are not stupid. I have one sitting in front of me, 18-year-old almost. So they will say yes, yes, but when it comes to do their vote and that they're not gonna follow that, okay, I have to give vote to this Muslim lady or Muslim guy because it's a Muslim vote better. Because you will see those that
Mm.
540-year-old above, we are the one that basically circling toward the blind faith of religion without understanding the religion. And then you will see there will be another segment in Muslim vote that will not think anything. He said that, no, my mom said vote for this one, I'm going to vote for that one. It will be like that. But that's in every society, in the Vietnamese society, in a Chinese society, everywhere is like that. Because we have to understand 50% of the population doesn't even speak English properly. We go to all the shops and that you will say half
Mm.
of the people in Australia that basically working and that and vote are even citizen, they don't speak English. They speak their own language. And so when it's come to voting time, these are vote bank. So Muslim vote matter is something like that. I
Right.
don't support it. Yeah.
Is trying to create a vote bank. Okay, okay. So you talked about that Israel Gaza, you referred to it. And I was
Mm.
watching the Muslim vote matters. There's some videos on their YouTube channel. And there's a lady who is from Palestine, and she is potentially going to be one of the candidates in one of the elections.
What's her
And
name?
she said that don't look this conflict in terms of as a,
Okay.
I have to find it out. I can give you the link, but I have to find it out. I don't remember exactly now. And she said that don't look the Israel-Gaza conflict from a Muslim versus Jew conflict. Don't look it as a religious conflict. It's a land issue, or it's a boundary issue, or it's a country versus country issue, something like that. But when you read the Muslim Vote Matters website, they want the Muslims to keep the Gaza or the Palestine conflict at very high in their minds when they vote. Like they're asking Muslims to look at this conflict from a religious angle. And there's a lady who is from Palestine says, don't look at it from a religious angle, it's a something else. So where do you stand? How do you understand, like how do you marry these two things together? So are they Muslim vote matters trying to give a religious
Let
color
me
to
let
something
me
which is
answer
not
you.
religious conflict?
How many
Or
federal politicians
what's
in
going on?
Australia? Let-
There's 151 seats at the moment. You put in
750
at least
now.
five per seat,
From
so
that
that's about like what
750,
750 in one election.
90% of these politicians are hypocritical. So now, if this Palestinian or whoever that wants to be this lady leader goes to one website and says that this and another website is this,
Mm.
then it's a perfect example of our 2025 politicians. Because, like say, I don't know which parties that you support. Which party you support? Let's put this way, like a thing
Let's
this
go.
way that
Let's
when you
not go in
close
there.
your
Let's
eyes
not bring
tonight,
my
have a thing
political.
that in your own party that you support, how many leaders are not hypocritical? You will find a very hard time to
Uh,
find that. Now, if say for example, I am that lady leader and I went to one website and said that Gaza, this and that, don't bring it to the Muslim, where she is right. That is the
mm,
correct way to approach that. Number two, when she said that this is the land issue, 100%. See, look,
mm,
no matter how what happened, what people say, Gaza will be taken by either Israel or USA
mm,
or that Western people or the Western group. Gaza will be taken is today, tomorrow, 10 year,
mm,
15 year later. Only
mm,
way that this will not be taken if a worldwide conflict happen,
mm.
a world war happen. And why USA and Israel wants that is very simple. Because if
Right.
you look into the map, there is a canal already has been done long ago.
Mm,
And that canal can basically say to the Suez
mm,
Canal, fuck off. If that canal they can do, USA and Israel, Middle East is basically the USA and Israel's beach. And I mean that, in Dubai, in Middle Eastern country, these sheikhs as harem, there are 50 women in their harem, in their own personal brothel.
mm,
Middle East will be something like that for USA and Israel.
mm.
They're gonna come, they're gonna bend them over, they're gonna fuck them, and there wouldn't be any lube used because that is what they want. And that is the main thing. And also on the shore of Gaza, there are trillions or billions of cubic feet of natural resources which falls into Palestine Authority. because of the international water. Now, if they can have that, that's a
Mm.
several hundred years of supply
Mm.
that Israel and USA can have. But Muslim world does do the suffering they do deserve. Right now, you can basically come and kill me for that, but people can basically throw their shoes
Really?
and beat the hell out of me. But we Muslim world, see this, all this Gaza suffering, everything that happening in Middle East, we Muslim world do deserve it. Here is why, simple one. When my prophet,
Explain.
peace be upon him, was alive, there was only Islam, there was only Muslim. And I will recite something that he said. My prophet said, after he did Mecca and Medina, he said, no matter who comes to my door, regardless of their belief, allow them to enter the house of Allah. Allow them to see where I am laid. If they are clean, they just come then and then.
Mm.
Nowadays, if you are not Muslim, you cannot enter. Now, if my prophet was alive, like say for example, right
Yeah.
today, my prophet is alive, my prophet will be crying by saying that I have said to let everyone in the house of my Lord, my Creator, my Allah. And you guys have not listened to that, and you guys have made your own rule.
Mm.
That's number one. That's just one. Number two, when my prophet was alive, there wasn't any Shia or Sunni. You understand Shia or Sunni? The Shia and Sunni is the starting of the downfall of Islam and downfall of Muslim. That's where it started.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I read
Now,
somewhere that
think this way.
that's
My
happened after the
prophet
fourth caliph.
never created Shia or Sunni division. He said that everybody is Muslim. There is nothing else, nothing will be done. Islam and Muslim. Now we created Shia and Sunni, and that has divided the whole Middle East. And all that's how West everybody got into the Middle East. Can you imagine if Muslim has stayed the same? No Shia Sunni, no fucking Shia or no fucking Sunni, only Muslim, only Islam. Today, Muslim would have been the superpower in the world because first Christianity came, it went down, then Islam has started, it rose to the ladder. And that's how the world has started, went to the next generation of the world, become modern and everything else came after Islam. If you look into the history, that nothing to deny. So now, but the downfall of Islam has started there. And the Gaza and everything is simply because we never stayed on the path. My prophet, from the day one, the day he born until the day he died, he never lied. Now that is something that every Muslim, 1.3 billion are suffered to admit that our prophet has never lied. So did Ram. So did Buddha. So did Jesus. Now you find me, even 100,000 combined Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, Christian that do not lie. And we call ourselves Muslim, Christian, and this and that, but we never follow or walk the path. We only do what is good for us, what makes us into the power, greed, self, that. So what's happening in the Gaza, saying that lady that she was right. But when she went to the Muslim Vote Matter page and started using that to emotionally blackmail the free will of Muslim people, that becomes unethical and that becomes hypocritic. Now my question would be that my prophet was not a hypocrite. My prophet was the light for truth. If that truth brought the death on his doorstep, still he was truthful. Now how or why or shall you support a leader in every step of their life? They prove that they are not truthful. Their interest, everything changes as the time goes by. and vote for them, or use your free will to vote for them, for who is honest. But again, politics is a good business, because 90% people in our society, in Australia as well, are unethical and dishonest in a micro level. But now, most people will get angry with me, but they don't have the wisdom to understand the depth of the meaning I am trying to say to the people. So now what that leader did is just hypocritical, but hey, every leader is hypocritical.
Yeah, part of the game. One thing I was also thinking is that, the Muslim World Matters took up the issue of Israel and Palestine to get together the Muslims in Australia. Fair enough. But they took only one of the issues or the conflicts going on. There's huge number of issues. There's Rohingya issue in Myanmar, and Bangladesh is facing, and India is also facing that migration or people moving. There's Saudi Yemen conflict. There's Syrian civil war. There was an overthrow of government just now. There's Uyghur Muslims in China issue. It's a long going issue. There's Boko Haram in Nigeria and surrounding issues. There's issues and deaths and problems everywhere, especially in the Muslim world. So why do you think the Muslim World Matters chose only the Israel-Palestine issue and not all these issues?
To
Or
start
should these
with, Muslim
issues
vote doesn't
don't
matter.
matter to the Muslims
Nor
in
Hindu
Australia?
vote, nor Christian vote, not Jewish vote, not any vote. Only the votes of Australians matter. Now, it's like, say for example, I have a friend, very sexy, like a 6 feet tall and this and that. But this guy has one thing. He will not sleep with any desi girls. Say for example, he has a Bengali Indian mixer and this and that and that, but when it comes to girlfriend choice or a wife choice, he always goes for either Western or other. And I asked one day, I said that there are a lot of good hot girls goes for you, but you don't give them a chance because they are desi. But you give other a chance. Why?
Hmm.
And the answer he
Hmm.
gives is that, said, because my heart wants that. Now, how many social media mainstream posts you have seen that Rohingya issue coming up? I didn't see much, and I do a lot of it. Yeah,
Very less in Australia. Like I also
exactly.
follow
So
Indian
the thing is
politics,
that
so I've heard there, but nothing here.
we always only care about the things that we can see. You will see in Australia, there would be at least 30% of the people shall have children. Like say, for example, I have a son from my previous relationship and I have a children from my current relationship. Now, my other son used to live with me for full time for a while, then 5 days. Then recently he decided that he wants to go to the school that his mom at, and there he lives. So he lives there 5 days, and he lives here for 2 days. So he is out of my sight for 5 days.
Hmm.
So nothing that in a 5 year time, the child, the son that always 7 days a week in front of me will have more attention from me, or the one that gonna have more attention from me that only stays for 2 days. Similarly, this is the human nature that basically we are putting more attention to Gaza instead of other, because Gaza issue never stopping. It's always coming into the social media and this and that. And the reason this is happening, because the young generations are talking about it. You will not see a 40-year-old posting about Gaza. You will see at least 120-year-old posting about Gaza. But
Hmm.
those young generation, only 38% of the voter in Australia. So they are not the majority. Give it another 30 years. Let some of the old folks die down. Let my parents die down. Those are the narrow mentality. Let us, some of us die down. I'm 43 because we can't go above race, religion, color, ethnicity. Let this generation that basically still nobody gives a fuck about. Everybody thinks that bullshit. Yes, they are bullshit. Like they don't even know how to do a lot of things. But for that, we parents are responsible because we created them who they are
Hmm.
today. If our system and society created us how we are today, how we think, we are the reason why our next generation is like that, because we have created them. We have always told that I will give you everything what my parents couldn't give me. I had a very hard life. My children should have the fucking good life. So every action has a consequence. Similarly, all the issues that Gaza issue simply comes out, it's not because of the Muslim and that, because it's the most mainstream monetized issue. Because if you do, say for example, I have done when the day that attack happened, the next day morning I woke up, then I published a song about Gaza and that, and it got more than 100,000 views within 2 days. But why it got more views? The reason for is that Gaza issue is hot. So a lot of people are even making the concept to make money out of it. If my 100,000 views were monetized, I would have make some money, but I'm not monetized. I just make it. People so people suffering,
Right.
everything is a good business. And nobody truly cares until they walk those shoes or they have gone affected in their own household. Like when people care, when you are affected. Like cost of living crisis, if you look into the history, when the liberal government was about to get out of the power, like the last year or so, it has started from that time. There is a trace. There was 10 to 18% of Australian population already was suffering. But that time, that was the minority, only 18%. And there was post about it. I have them saved in my computer that, but nobody cared about it. It took 10 to 12 years to catch up to us now, and 80% of Australian population suffering. Now everybody cares about it because your household is affected. Same way Islam goes. If my prophet was alive today, or if Allah came to this world and said, this is what it will be said by Allah, is that you did not care when 15% suffered. And because you did not care that time, you could not stop it. And it grown over time, and one day it reach out to you like a cancer. And today you are blaming the politician, but you should be blaming yourself because you were alive 12 years ago. So we always ahead of blaming or segmenting my this, my that, my that. We never think, and that say for example, people are to blame. Common people are the reason for their suffering in this world. That 90% of the suffering that we face, we blame politician, we blame corporation and that. But we common people are the main guilty there. But again, we are still a baby race. Human race has to grow a lot more to understand the depth of this statement that I'm making. And you can kill me, but still I'm going to say that this is the truth. And go to root bottom, you will see Gaza. 100 years ago, you got attacked, and that all this time nobody cared. Because 100 years ago, Israel wasn't this strong. USA wasn't this strong. Other empire were more stronger. When the 165 years ago, when the beginning of the Gaza problem, if you go there, it goes long ago. And that time, everybody had similar power. But that time, Middle East, all these tribes, they did not unite to kick them out. They let one tribe to suffer. So they got a land, and they started making everybody else suffer. So how you can blame someone that if, for example, if you go to a strip club, your dick will get hard because there is naked girls. Similarly, if you let someone stay and you let your brother to get tortured by an invader or someone claiming their land, and all of you 20 other brothers in the Muslims, because all Muslims are brothers, and you just sit and do nothing. It took 165 years to catch up to it. So that's why I say that we do deserve it. All the suffering, if you look into Rohingya suffering, if you look into in India Muslim suffering, in other countries, you will see there was a time when the first it started, 90% took the beating. They did not stand up. And it just gone up, 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 up. That's the history all over. But in Islam, it says when you are being put down wrongfully, unethically, if you stay down, you are more of a sinner than a jihadist. You should be standing up for those that cannot stand up. That is the path of Islam. In Islam, you are not allowed to kill an ant.
Mm.
Only time you are allowed to kill when you are standing up to save a person or someone that basically cannot defend themselves, or you are standing up for Prophet and Allah. But Israel, America, they are not saying anything about Allah. They are not saying anything about Prophet. So what we are doing, we are just basically using it that, okay, I'm going to support Gaza so I can go to heaven. I feel good here from my heart that I'm supporting, I'm doing something good, but I'm the one that's going to go to hell because it is my silence that causing it across the world.
Mm.
Think this way, 8.7 billion people, if 80% of those stand together, do you think Gaza issue don't get resolved? In Australia, less than 20% people stood up for Gaza with all the protests and everything across the country. If 28 million Australian, if 80% stand up, do you think our government, liberal, doesn't matter who it is, our politicians will have the balls to support Gaza or send troops or send weapon to Israeli army? I have a friend in IDF. So I know that Australia, they are getting weapons from Australia. But we don't care. We act like we care because we find a false happiness. We want to go to our
Mm.
grave with that happiness that I did care. So when I die, if I believe in any sort of, doesn't matter which religion, believe every religion, you're gonna get something. You know, in every religion, the bottom line is the same point. Hindu, reincarnation. In the Islam, you get afterlife. Same, another life. In Buddhist, same, another life. In the Christianity, another life. So basically the root point, that one single point, like computer language 0, 1 binary, root point is that you are getting another life. And they are the judgment of that. So everybody believes that, but everybody uses it for themselves. So we
Mm.
Australians should care. But is it justified or ethical to care for someone or something who don't care for them? Because in Quran it has been said, Allah will not help those who does not want to help themselves. And the people of Gaza doesn't want to help themselves. Say for example, today in the Gaza, people talk about Imam Mahdi. Mahdi will come and they will save. To hell with that. Mahdi will come, but Mahdi is not going to save it because you
Mm.
guys don't stand up. If I was standing up, say for example, I am Mahdi, and I'll be telling that there are 2.4 million of you. Go stand up on the Gaza street. Let Israel kill 2.4 million of you. Think this way. If everyone being stop scared and together march to the Gaza Strip and stand there, 2.4 million human, I do not believe that USA or Israel has the balls to do anything. But we all are scared. No, we all are greedy of our life. We shouldn't be saying that I am scared for my life. I'm greedy for my life. So Muslim vote again doesn't matter. Stop. I
Right.
seriously see my son went to school and I asked the school, I wouldn't say the school in Morley. I wouldn't say, I said that are you guys promote religion? And they said that no, we don't. And the second day my son gets a school book where they note the diary in the second page. It's all about Jesus. I took him out of from that school and sent him somewhere that basically religion doesn't get taught partially. If you're gonna teach about religion, that they say there are 6 major religion in the world, make a book about that and put all the 6 there. Let the kids read instead of one. Similarly, all this Muslim vote better and that, but it's not the fault of all these people. Say, for example, whoever come up with the idea of the Muslim vote matter, that person is not also has any fault because he grown up in an environment. Say, if he grown up in Australia, say, the person that made the movement of he born here and grown up here, the people that he grown up with, what he saw and what others showed to him all together become, because by born we are a part of segmentation. As soon as you born, you're a fucking Muslim or you're a Hindu, you got a segmentation to start with. Then you go to school, besides a Christian school, prioritize on something. Then in every aspect of life, we have this segmentation. That's basically it, the Muslim vote matter. And if people vote only because of Muslim, that's not something that I don't believe that the Prophet will even say that is the right thing to do, or I say ethical thing to do.
So on that ethical thing, I'm thinking in terms of
Yeah, go on.
the strategy that they are, the strategy that they are adopting. On their website, they have highlighted 20 seats which have a highest Muslim as a percentage of the whole electorate. And they said we're going to target these seats and see what the members have been doing. There's another 32, including the 20 seats, they have mentioned 32 seats. And I was looking through them, and all 32 except for 3, so actually 29 seats, have got Labour members. And Labour actually has a group called Friends of Palestine. So here's a party who has a Friends of Palestine, who is in government, who's been knowing all these issues, and they are actually sympathetic to that cause, and seemingly they're not doing much. If I read the Muslim Votes website as well, they don't like liberals because they're saying that they're not supporting them, or Dutton is going and supporting Trump and Israel and things like that. So from a Muslim votes, and there's no other party going to come into power. Only these two parties will come. So I'm thinking as a strategy, what are they trying to achieve? Because Labour is not helping them. Liberal is not going to help them. No other third party can come in power except for these two parties. So what are they trying to achieve? Are they actually trying to achieve something for the community, or is it something like what happens? I know about India, that there is a member of parliament who has only 2 seats in the parliament, but he influences the Muslim vote or how they vote across India. What's the end goal? What do you think? What's the strategy?
If you ask me what they are doing, is it ethical or unethical? What they are doing is ethical. Now, a strategy,
I'm
the
thinking
thing
in
is
terms
that
of
the way
strategy,
my
ethics,
concept or
from
my
Islamic point
talking
of view,
work is that,
again,
say for example, my 18-year-old went and murdered someone, my child, my daughter. When she tells me that, the first question I'll be asking myself after hearing everything, cause and effect, was it ethical or unethical? I will not care about right or wrong, good or bad, because it's a matter of perspective. But when it's come to ethics and unethics, you can't do matter of perspective anymore. You cannot use emotion anymore. Greed is a emotion. Wanting to get something for yourself, that seat, that elected seat, leader, elected politician, this is all power and this is all emotion. But what they are doing according to Australia, how it is set up, it is ethical, because think this way, if you stole, say for example, I stole $1 million, now then you came and you stole that $1 million from me, that act is ethical because that wasn't my hard-earned money. I stole from someone, you just stole from me. So I cannot call you a thief. Nor I can basically say that you should be punished by law, because I did the same thing. You just stole from me. Similarly, in Australia, you will see when it's come to police recruitment, defense recruitment, a lot of other recruitment, you will be seeing that white racism is there. If you look into that, 90% or 80% of police force is white. Recently, there was a movement that we want to employ police, and they have started employing police from only European country. But Australia's 42% population, English is not their first language. They speak other languages. So now there is one section gone. If you look into immigration, you will say racism is there. So what's wrong these Muslim people or leader doing by saying that 20 seat put that? They are just simply another group of people who believes in the same concept of labor, liberal, all the other politicians doing, because they're all racist in one sense. You know, a true leader, if I was a leader, this is what I would have done. I would have said that no, everybody has to go through the same process, because it's not where your background or color from. It's what your brain, what your soul, and what your things that you can offer here. It's like, think this way, is that like a Muslim vote versus, if you see into the Muslim community, you will see Muslim people here not like a, it sounds very rude, I know, I apologize for that, but if you look at that, half of the Muslim community on the social welfare. In Morley, I employed a child who goes to school with my daughter as a kitchen hand, so he worked there. His dad came as a refugee, paid $120,000 cash for home deposit, while with 4 children, he is living on 100% full social benefit. And that's not only wow. I know at least thousands of people, I asked them throughout that. So that, hey, you can work, why you don't work? He said that I work 20 hours part-time, I get enough money, then I have Centrelink, it's a full-time income, life is good. Why shall I work? Yeah. So in every segment, labor,
It's a good
liberal,
plan
you said that the thing
if
is
it
that
works.
when you have only, say, 5 thieves as a leader, we are just simply trying to decide who is a lesser thief. Labor is a thief, liberal is a thief. Every politician, 90% Australian politicians are dishonest, unethical. When it comes to the self-interest of common people. Because you will see, when it comes to the self-interest of common people, all of our politicians fight that because we are trying to get the best out of for our people. But when you will see is a pay rise of the politician, 96% of Australian elected politicians said yes, regardless of which country they are, what religion they are, what party they are, because it is their own self-interest. Now you show me one example in last 100 years that 96% of Australian politicians came together for the 80% of the common people of Australia. Because in Australia, 80% are common people, 10% are rich class, and then another 10% is ultra rich. So you will see our politicians never unite for 80%. So doing this Muslim vote matter, and that is a good strategy, because politics is a business. So again, common people, we do deserve the suffering because we don't see past it. We fight for our parties, but our party leaders, their children goes to the same school. They invest into the same share market. We are all going about Peter Dutton buying share in NAB, this and that, everything. But we are not talking about that. Albanese did the same thing. And other leaders did the same thing. Now the thing is that when I go to toilet, I have a shit, and when I'm walking out, if I see my wife, my children going at that, I say that hold on, I spray it because it smells. I can smell my own shit. But the problem with us common people is that we do not smell our own shit. We think that our one is full of perfume. You will see in the social media, every single, I can name 100 plus influencer, liberal, going like two king brown snake, fighting with each other. Oh, your venom, my venom, you did this, blaming, 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 blaming. But the thing is that nobody is saying that, okay, look, I did this, I have done this wrong, I have done this wrong, and I have done this wrong. So this Muslim vote, this and that, what they are doing is 100% ethical because they are also fighting against a group of culprits. Australia is a racist country. But is my friend racist? No. Is the people around me racist? No. Is I am racist? No. If anyone being racist to me, you know what I do? I said, yeah, whatever. So the thing is that first you have to learn how to take racism
Your
out of your
strategy.
own system. Look at the Chinese community. You go to Asian shop, 90% employees are Chinese. You go to a eating that, you will see that Asians 90% time goes to the Asian shop to eat. It's all segmented. It's not a fault. It's that's how we balled up. We have never got the wisdom that there is something outside of this mentality. Because you are a Chinese, because you are an Indian, because you are a Muslim, it is not necessary that you're going to be safe with another Muslim. It is not necessary that Muslim will look after you. Islam and Christianity, these two has become the most too polluted religion in 2025. It's not because of Jesus or because of Muhammad, or not because of Quran, not because of Bible, Old Testament, this Testament, whatever. It become polluted because of humans. Because we never walk the true path. If 8 billion people believes in final judgment day, that after life, 99.99%, maybe you and me, even you, Nirmal Singh, is going to hell first. You're going to get some blending, then you're going to pass. Because we never pass out of that knowledge. Because we are educated, so we have our own free will. Our free will stops us from thinking outside of the box, seeing from another point of view, that without greed, without ego, without power, without emotion.
Mm.
And that's it. So Muslim vote better.
Mm.
It's like that.
Mm.
Vote, but don't vote for someone told you to do so. Vote for someone that you think that will do better for you, and not for you, for your neighbor. Because if I think about my neighbor and that process is multiplied, everyone is thinking about everyone. At the moment, we only think about myself. You will say Labour is all full of Medicare,
Mm.
Liberal is not.
Mm.
Why? You will see the Labour voter, majority of the Labour voter are poor, middle class. The people that chooses Liberal, they are all house owners. They all have money income. Their children goes to, most of their children goes to private school. So as long as they are fed, you will see that liberal, a lot of liberal will not care about school free lunch, this and that, because they say that my son goes to private school, I can afford it. So a child that going to public school, that born, but because their parents were shit, they had not
Mm.
monitored their life, so they could not give a good life to that child. And we are not letting that child have that free lunch either, because we are thinking that it's a waste of money, but we are not thinking that that child one day gonna appreciate that free lunch. Because when, as he grows up, as the education, he will learn that no, it's not my mom and dad that basically provided that free lunch for me. It's the working class people of this country who sacrificed their money as a tax provided that lunch. Because we always think that what I'm getting in return,
Mm.
but we never think that I am already 40-year-old, I'm going to live another 40 years, but I am what I'm leaving in return from my children. Because we are the main reason why our children are selfish. So this is how you don't see anybody think. Not labor, not liberal, not Muslim people. And bringing a segment, Muslim vote matter, is just basically saying that my dick is bigger than yours.
So, from going from there, if Muslims actually have to use their free will and their individual judgment to assess before voting, what issues should they think of, or what should be the important issues that
Give
they
me
should
few
think of
subjects.
before
Let's say,
voting?
for example, okay,
How
from
should
these
they make up
three,
their
what
mind?
should you think first? Because my political view
I mean, like there is
is totally different than 90% politicians that currently practicing politics. Even my political view is way different than yours and that. Because because I think a way
yeah,
that
fair
basically
enough, fair
90%
enough.
don't think. That's why I am bit crazy.
So I'm thinking in two terms. There is one term that they are thinking in terms of Australians. How does the government policy affects their bottom line? Bottom line
Hmm.
means the household income after all the expenses. What are they left with? So that's one. The second is how much the opportunity that they get in their life. Can they start a business? Can they do employment? Do they have a choice in going for the employment, or do they have to go to an employment to manage those extra income? Do they have a choice of freedom? Do they have a choice of speech? Can they talk? Do they have
Let's
a
put
freedom or opportunity to get into political process? Do they have? So that's an Australian thing. But there's
in terms
another
of
thing
what?
of what they should be thinking in terms of a Muslim. Like there might be some issues that the community is facing internally or as being a minority or whatever reasons. So I'll ask in both the terms, like issues as a Australian and issues as
Okay.
a Muslim Australian.
Issues as a Australian is that it will be very hard to take labor out of the government. It's like thing like this way. I'm happily
Mm-hmm.
married and I have one of the sexiest wife on earth, okay? Yeah, you can't say anything, but I can say because that's my wife.
I can't say
And
anything.
now let's put this way.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
husband wife means husband wife will have sex. It's natural, right? If husband wife is not having sex, it's not natural because there's the relationship demands that husband wife will have some sort of physical relationship. Now, when I give it to my wife, like a
Hmm.
4 or 5 days in a row, she is very happy. But when I do not give it to my wife for one whole week, she is not happy. Similarly, in Australia, as long as you give little bit free to the people, people will always be happy. And people will always vote for those politicians and parties who will give you $1 and then basically under the table they are gonna remove $100. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand Australia is not a country. Australia is still a colonized democratic country where 50% people doesn't believe Australia is their homeland or anything. That's 50%. I'm being more like conservative. It's more than that. So here everybody is coming to make their means. I'm coming, say for example, you will see almost half of the population abusing social welfare. Everything and that. Now, if you put someone honest to weed out all of this, people are not gonna vote for them because you're gonna lose your free benefit. Like if I don't fuck my wife, she gets cranky. If I don't fuck for a long time, but if I give it in a regular basis, she is happy. That's human because you are getting, and that is the Australia. So if you thinking of a good political change and revolution, it's not gonna come now because we need time to kill some people. It is sounds as bad as that, but that's the truth. The thing is that in time things will change. At the moment, you go to an Indian who is 70-year-old, there is no way he will vote for anyone else but his Indian community leader tells who he has to vote for. Same goes for in Chinese, same goes for any country. Muslims, everybody. So, change will not happen. The system as it is, it will stay, and some people will get profitable from it. If you look into all the Labour MP, even Liberal MP, why all these politicians together voted that they do not have to disclose their full-fledged income or asset? So we are talking about, see, as me and you political gurus or talks about politics, we are trying to question common people's integrity here, that what common people doing or this and that, but we are not understanding that our leaders are corrupted because we are corrupted. So you are telling basically Donald Trump that don't attack Israel. Then you are telling Joe Biden that don't attack Israel, but they both gonna attack Gaza. It's same. So what Australian people doing, because the thing is that people are dishonest and unethical to start with. Find me, let's put this way, publish this podcast as it is, raw version of it. Exactly. And then here is a challenge to
It's going to
every
be
single
raw. There's nothing
28 million
deleted.
Australian, if you believe in ethics, if you believe in religion. Doesn't matter, you believe in religion. If you don't believe in religion, you definitely gonna believe in karma or ethics, because that's the other part of it, or your existence. In your existence, what you are doing, or really. For next 6 months, don't lie. Simple, 3 words, do not lie. That's my challenge to every single Australian, that do not lie for 6 months. Not a single word of lies, not even white lies. Because there is a other way to live. And if you can do that, then you have the right to blame a politician. Because you are dishonest yourself. You are choosing the politicians. Why blame the politicians for stealing? If I am dishonest and hundreds of thousands people, fuck yeah, when I'm gonna go to the chair, I'm gonna steal as well, because I'm a dishonest. And every single human being, it will be very hard to find 10% of the Australian population that 100% ethical or not dishonest. We drive on the road, we are going 8 kilometers above the speed limit. Oh yeah, that's fine. But we don't understand, in order to stop all this unethical action, billions of dollars we are wasting every single year. We talk about tax. You will see, like Nirmal, you might know at least 100 people that talked about you, how much personal TFN tax we are pay when we work for TFN. But you will see none of these cunts or motherfuckers or human beings, nobody will basically tell a thing that, what about change the whole tax law and the revenue law? Because none of the big companies in paying tax. I did a research with all the 96,000 pages. Australia tax and revenue charter is 96,000 pages and counting. So when I did few years of research, if we simply change the revenue and start putting our resource revenue tax properly, we'll have $200 billion income in a election term, just as a tax revenue from all the big companies. That's why we are a colonized democratic state, because everything here is owned by the West. Our Labour, Liberal, Greens, all the political parties also owned by them. And people don't care. Because as long as I have $1,000 in my account, my rent is paid, my children going to good school, and that, I don't care what you are doing. Because my 400 square meter block with a house on it is the end of my story. If you can sell the whole country as a politician, I don't care, as long as I'm getting some energy relief, $500 a year, $500 gas relief, $500. It's like that. Basically, in my son, the 2-year-old, I said that he runs around. If I want to catch him, I said that ice cream, he just comes running to me. So when you are yourself greedy of this small benefit, you have no ethical right to blame a politician or any party at all. Nobody. Because you are the one that has to change fast in order to choose a honest leader. A dishonest human or an unethical human will never choose to elect an honest and ethical leader. So that goes about our Muslim vote is that because it's nothing unethical about it, to be honest, because everybody is unethical. Everybody is dishonest. So the question of ethical shouldn't be on the table either. We should be talking about how much unethical and dishonest on it are before saying that this person is not ethical. Am I ethical? Can you put your chest on your hand, Nirmal Singh, and say that I am 100% ethical? So my question is that if I am not ethical, how I can question that Albanese or Peter Dutton is unethical? I am unethical 1%. They have the power. They are unethical 100%. It's like by using the same tax loophole, my friend saves $100. By using the same tax loophole, Gina Reinhardt saves billions of dollars. So because my friend likes his $100 taking from the system by abusing the loophole, he doesn't care that Gina Reinhardt is taking billion. See how fucked up we are mathematically in the head? That is who we are in Australia and most of the country. Your second question.
But that's what I actually think, that if you actually want, like I've seen a lot of political campaigns, and when they say the corporates are not paying their fair share,
No.
I always think if you let go of your
Exactly.
$100,
That's the thing.
you can get
And
the
another thing is
corporates to
that if
pay
the
the $100 billion.
politician saying that corporation
Yeah.
not paying tax, say for example, there are MPs from Green saying that politician not paying tax. But you will not find a single video from those MPs basically pushing the political parties, other parties, they're saying that change the whole revenue resource sector law, which has been created hundreds years ago, and only benefit has been given to them. There is nothing for Australia there. So that's the thing. But the problem is that people are so tired after working, after running behind their children, doing their family duty and everything. People don't even have 20 minutes of time to think about all this. So people do deserve the suffering, because those that are smart, they will not suffer, no matter it's a third world war or a pandemic. During pandemic, like now, say for example, cost of living crisis, if you go to a certain suburb and that, you will be seeing that everything is full, people has money to spend. But if you go to suburb like a poor suburb, there people don't have money to then. Now the question comes that why those people are rich, why those people are poor? Each of these people had the chance to go to school for free, study, everything. But this, you'll be seeing that most of the time people made mistake, they never learn, and they become poor, then they stay on a lot of benefit. And you will see another rich segment also using the loophole to have the same benefit. Like a rich family, I know husband, wife, phone separated so they can get the benefit. And thousands of families doing that. So the thing is that if I'm a politician and if I'm the dishonest to answer that I let people steal $1, I'm going to steal $1,000.
Yes, that was a good reference on the green politicians. I was reviewing the website on, how much they show their assets, and you go and see the assets of green MPs. They tell you about rent caps and this, and you see their property, it's a different story. But that's outside of this podcast or this topic. So, Simon or ASM, before we close, what message would you have for
Okay. For the
the
Muslim community, I
Muslim
don't have any
community as a fellow
message, but I have
Muslim?
a challenge for all the
Lasting
Muslims in
comments.
Australia or whoever, that if you want to
Mm,
call
mm,
yourself Muslim, a true Muslim, start a life when you wake up from the next time after you see this video. Do not lie. Live that life for 1 year, then tell me, come back and say that no, I have done it. Because That was the first principle of my prophet, peace be upon him, because it is not what they have told, it is how they have walked the path of Allah, guided by Allah. And the first thing was that do not lie. Your prayer, your everything will have no value at the end of the day if you did not live by the first thing that my prophet did. That is called being a Sunni. Do not lie. My prophet never lied. And if there is 800 million Sunnis in the world, you follow other things that prophet did as a sunnah, why you don't follow the one that do not lie, which he did as soon as his first breath came out, when he started talking? Because a child action is innocent. But when a child has started talking on the age of 7, the brain develops more, and then the child gets on the age of 7, basically a kid grows up the sense of, okay, this is a lie, bad or good, like that, those senses. So from that time, from the time that my prophet has that sense, he never lied. Now you cannot call yourself a true Muslim, walker of the path, Islam, not the religion, if you can't live the life of do not lie. That's the first principle of Islam. Now, many might argue, many hadith might say and that, but it's simple. If there is 1,000 liter of milk, all I have to do, put 1 drop of lemon or vinegar there. That 1,000 liter of milk over time will be all gone. All will be fucked. Similarly, my prophet lived 1500 years ago. 1500 years ago. He died on the age of 63. After his death, what if some people put few words of lies on the lines, and after 1500 years, most of them become lies? Because that's how the Christianity happened. Everything is just that. Because we never follow the root. And the root of Islam is that do not lie. Because when you do not lie, another 1,000 road to bad emotion closes. Because there is no point telling what else, that first live the life, live the path. Otherwise, nobody, 28 million Australian has no ethical right to tell any politician that they are not doing their things they're supposed to do, they are not honest, they are this and that. Because you just simply presenting yourself a hypocritical human being because you are dishonest yourself. You cannot call anybody else dishonest. So for all the Muslims, this is my challenge. Live a life of do not lie for 1 year. And then stand up and say Muslim vote matter. Because that is when you become the true Muslim. You do not become a true Muslim by wearing a hijab, but your boobs and asses are properly carved out, shaped and showing. You know? What's the point of wearing that hijab? Main principle of hijab is that so your curve of the body doesn't visible to the man, so man's wild nature, which is called our dick getting hard enough, that doesn't happen. Because think this way, you go to work. Now, if you work with 100 men and if you are not gay, you will see that there is no, your dick is not getting a stand up, or nor you've been thinking about that. But put 10 women in a fully clothed but not doing too much that, you will see that bad thinking not coming. But put 10 women with the hijab that basically like that tight fit hijab and lipstick and everything, that will make your dick tingle. So that is what Islam has become for many people. A tool to use for our own self-happiness by thinking that Allah is stupid. Allah doesn't understand. Oh, I'm doing namaz, salat, roza, zakat, but we are not doing the things that we supposed to. There is no point of praying 5 times if you can't live by a life of do not lie. Because you woke up, you did your first prayer, then you went, you lied, then you came for the 12 o'clock noon prayer, and then you go to Allah to pray that Allah forgive me for my sin. Then you go again, lie again. Then you come in the afternoon prayer and you go, Allah forgive me again. Then you go for the evening prayer and you do the same. Do you think Allah is stupid? Every time you are saying, Allah forgive me, forgive me. No.
Actually,
Yeah,
I've heard
exactly.
a
And
lot many
also,
lines
here
in
is the
Quran which
thing that
says
in the
Allah knows
Quran it
everything.
says
Allah is all
Allah is
knowing.
merciful. Now you will say 99% Muslims in the world will say that Allah is merciful. Allah will forgive all the sins. That is a lie. Allah is merciful with consequences. Here is the proof of it. Adam and Eve. Allah said, don't eat the fruit. Adam ate. What Allah did? Allah could have said to Adam and Eve that my child, what is done, I forgive you, stay in the heaven. Allah didn't say that. Allah said that, I forgive you, but go to earth, walk the path. And Allah also same time told the devil that you did not go in front of, says that humans are the best creation of mine. You did not admit that. So here is a race between human and devil. Humans will go to earth to walk the path to show that they are worthy, or they are the worthy of that title, that the Ashraful Makhlukat, the best creature alive or walking on earth. And the devil's task is to manipulate, because devil said that no, humans are not the best creature. So what Allah did, Allah said that, look, I am not gonna go into the trouble between who is best or not, because I created you, both of you are my sons or children. If you have two children, if two children fights that I am the best, what are you gonna say as a father? He said that, go prove it to me. So Allah sent both devil, both humans to earth to prove that. And until your death, you are proving that you are better. But 99.99% are failing. And that is my message to Muslim people, is that before you use Muslim for Muslim vote voters and this and that, ask yourself, are you being an honest Muslim?
On that note, I think it's a good point to conclude this discussion.
Oh,
It's a very fruitful
don't know how
discussion,
many people will
and it's
listen
good
to
to
this,
get.
but most Muslim people most likely will hate me. But the thing is that when Jesus first started talking about wisdom, the whole world hated him, ended up him being crucified. When Muhammad, peace be upon him, started talking about something different than his society, what his parents taught him, everybody called him mad as well, even his own mother. So a lot of Muslim people can get angry at me at that, but I think it's time that we Muslim people have started to understand what Islam is and how it basically should have worked when my Prophet was alive. 1500 years has been gone, another 46 years left. From my calculation, it has been told, allegedly, it has been told that the lifespan of Islam will last for 1500 years. And after that, a new consciousness will rise. Now, nobody knows what is that, because if you look into the history, 6,000 years plus ago, Hinduism came. Then, here is the best part. Then, in a Hindu house, Buddha has born. Then, Buddha created the Buddhism. Then, in a Buddhist, like a long line of Jews, it also has a line gene, or the, if you look into the history research and that, you'll be seeing that there is a link between Jews and Buddhism, Buddhist, the bloodline, and that, because it's all mixed. And then you will see that Jesus came, he created Christianity, and you will see in every religion there is a gap. 3,000 years past, Buddhism came. 2,000 years past, Christianity came. 2,000 years past, then the Islam came. So what it tells us, it basically all of these are the same thing. It's just a refined version of that, because think this way. At the beginning, Australia, there was only one party, Liberal. After 10, 15 years later, 20 years later, or sometime later, another party stands at that Labour and saying that Liberal is not doing right. Similarly, when Hinduism was there, Buddha came and Buddha said that this part of Hinduism is not right or is hurting, this and that. So he walked a different or the same path but created a better version of it. And then Jesus made a better version of it, which he never said Christianity is a religion. It is after his death, his fans basically gave the name of religion. And then what happened? Like the Muhammad came, then he created. But if you look into scientifically, you will see that a lot of thing has been purified from Hinduism to Buddhism to Christianism, then to Islam. And all the root path, the life of Ram, life of Buddha, life of Jesus, life of Muhammad is basically the one book. None of them lied. None of them believed in killing unless it was for the faith and it was for to help someone. In every single common principle is same among them. But as soon as they died, humans has created a variation of it and has started. But at the end of the day, everybody has to die. That's what basically Muslims need to understand is that time is coming and Muslims across the world will suffer more. Because it is also said in Quran that the punishment will be served to you. You may not have the wisdom to understand it. Now, and also it has been said, children will die for their parents' sins. Or children will suffer for their parents. In Islam, we believe that if I have done any sort of sin that I could not get forgiveness for, it might come on to my children. Now, in Gaza, people have stayed silent. Silent has given another group to rise. They taken over. Their silence become cowardice. And as a result of their cowardice, their children are dying. Because it's not built to them by Jews or USA. It was brought upon them by themselves because they did not stood up for religion or their faith when they were first attacked. They did not unite. So why shall we care from here when we can't even hold our politicians responsible for their own bad things? Gaza, that's a long way. I can't even fucking fix my own underwear. My own underwear has 2 holes in it. And I am thinking to donate a brand new set of 3 underwear to them. For what reason? To feel myself happy that I have done something for Muslims and that? No, because Muslims, the first thing of Islam is that humanity. That is what Islam about. So that's the thing, like that, the whole thing is basically, problem is us common people. I mean, now
Thanks.
will be.
Thanks, ASM. That's something
Shall I
I
get a
want
copy
to
of this
look
video?
into ourselves now.
Look, if you tell the truth, people will not like you.
Sure.
Because
All right.
truth is nothing that exists anymore.